You don't see this all that often. Okie doke. Starting the first map. Up in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, we have Lucifron, spawning as the green Terran player. Across from him, down in the bottom left, it is Roxkiss Titan. And his team is actually currently playing against Team Liquid, I believe, in the MCSL Finals. So if you're a fan of his play, you can definitely go check him out. I think just as I switched over here, I was eating lunch while watching Titan vs. Xenio. So, I don't know, Titan, he has really, really solid, pretty much every matchup. I don't feel that he's weak in any specific area. Unlike a lot of foreign players seem to be, I'm great in PvP, I'm great in PvZ, but PvT, I don't know. Or Sheth is ridiculously good in ZVP. And he's okay in ZVZ, but his ZVT, sometimes he'll be the first to admit that it's kind of lacking. But I don't know, as we go on, as you play more games, matchups change. I mean, just look at Mana. Mana is like the poster child of, hey, you know what? Your weakest matchup doesn't have to be your weakest matchup all the time. His PvT used to suck. Everybody on Mouse just started training with him again and again and again. And now, like, when you say, oh, man is playing in the GSL, oh, he has ridiculously good PvT, you wouldn't even know it. And this is almost 2 years later at this point. I mean, this is going back to the beginning of SE2's release. Back, a little bit of word on the game going on. We have a supply depot completing this wall off here. Most likely Lucifron is going to go for a 1-Rax expand. He just wants to deny his opponent's scouting knowledge, and this is actually awesome. So why is this awesome? Let's talk about this for a little bit. Because if you go for gas, you can do this. I mean, it's completely feasible to do so. You either produce an additional SCV or decide to cut one. Or delay your orbital just a little bit, like 5-10 seconds. If you go for an expand, you can do the same thing, and you're showing the same exact thing to the Protoss Scout every single match. So you can vary it up. You can go gas, you can go 2 barracks, whatever you want behind this, and all they see is this opening. So it really sets you up for a very good spot in an extended series like that. And, let's see. Meanwhile, in Titanland, what do we have? Cybernetics core going down. Okay. This is very, very standard timing. I believe that's the 3rd or 4th Chrono Boost on the Nexus there. He is getting a Zealot out, so he will not be taking much damage if Lucifron does decide to go for an eBay block, which we've been seeing an increasing amount of late. Probe trying to get by there. It will unfortunately die. It does scout the fact that there is no command center on the low ground. And there's a probe down here for Titan, and he will actually see the Expo. This is a very good scout by Lucifron. SCV does get out of there as well. He cut the Stalker, but I guess he's kind of banking on Lucifron going for a 1-gate. 1-Rax Expo. Confusing my buildings there. Forgive me. Alright, let's see if there is a Team Liquid event up quite yet. Doesn't look like at the moment. I'll refresh it again. Ah, yeah. Alright. So I will fix the in-game overlay next at the conclusion of this game. Forgot about those, I just need to pop them up. We actually have Lucifron going for a 3rd CC before any additional barracks, so this is one of the great things about scouting this Nexus going down and getting 100% confirmation that that is indeed what your opponent's going to go for, because it allows you to play greedy like this, and there's not really all that much that your opponent can do to punish this. A little bit ago, MC was like really fond of 2-base blink play on this map, and still you see players now and then opt to go for it. Elfie is someone who loves this in PvT, but I mean there's such a wide area for you to blink up in, and keep the Observer alive too. If you have a really narrow choke, your opponent can set Marines up there and scan, pick off the Observer before you're able to blink up there. Nobody wants that, so. Alright. Meanwhile, let's see, Chrono Boost allotment. We have a fair amount saved up. His Cyber Core has completed Warpgate research, and there's a robotics facility going on. Alright, just waiting for that Chrono Boost to double Chrono out some more probes. I can't blame him. This is, I mean, because he's not really using all that much Chrono on his gateways, I can't imagine he's going for some sort of timing. These sentries will definitely allow him to be aggressive on the map, though, in the near future. And we even have a Proxy Pylon going down. Okay, so Sentry Stalker. Sentry Stalker against Pure Marine, especially because Lucifron opened up with this third CC, he is actually adding in Marauders, which I think is really, really smart. Because he knows the weakness. And that's pretty much straight up Sentry Stalker out of pure gateway production. He is getting an Observer right now, so he is not delaying his tech. Lucifron even scouts the 3-gate Robo, so he shouldn't be all that concerned. A Marine is trying to locate this, but Lucifron needs a second bunker. He needs to pull his SCVs immediately upon seeing this. Now he does have a heads up. And this is actually going to be fairly committed pressure here from Titan. Both equal workers at 37 SCVs, but if Lucifron holds this, he's going to have such an advantage because of that third CC. Alright. Now we have, unfortunately for Lucifron, the ever-annoying Stalkers on the supply depot quite outranging the bunker. He can actually pop that Marauder in there, and it might be able to shoot off at that Stalker on the end. Lucifron's going to need to let go of this at some point. I guess he's just scared that his opponent will warp in some more Zealots. We actually have a Warp Prism in production right now that is not quite being rallied to his opponent's base yet. But I'd imagine we should see it in the near future. Wow! A bunker on the high ground. I have never seen this before in all the games that I've casted, but that is unbelievably awesome. He's even putting Marauders up in there so they'll have the high range to outrange these Stalkers attacking the bunker. Holy crap, that's awesome. I would have never thought to do that before. And I watch a ridiculous amount of pro games. So, Observer is here. Meanwhile, Lucifron is unfortunately supply blocked. Opening up very, very standard. He's actually opting for 2 tech labs, which I think is the go-to on this map. On larger maps, you see players opt for a double reactor. It's becoming ridiculously popular again. But, as we see, Titan's going for double forge and this robotics bay. And he has, at this point, no intention of taking this for third. PBT has kind of fallen back into the, I'm not going to expand until my Terran opponent expands. Lucifron has gotten this third CC, so I'm assuming that after seeing this... No, he has no knowledge of it! Oh, and Lucifron's actually going to be very, very kind and allow him to see. Meanwhile, we do have a Warp Prism going into the main base. Upon this, the main force is coming down here, and it will be able to trap quite a fair amount of units, but the bunker will fill, and with repairing SCVs should be enough to deal with this. I'll check the Marine kills on that later. I want to see if the Warp Prism is still alive. Lucifron actually needs to lift this immediately. Even the Stalkers might be able to take this out, especially with the sentries there to force field off. Bio. Engagement coming down. There are medevacs with this against pure gateway units. I don't know if Titan really wants to take this. He needs to keep those Stalkers alive for his eventual timing. Very nice by Lucifron. I'm not sure why he's so adamant about getting that command center back out. Titan is prioritizing down the Marauders here, which is a very nice move, but again, with the amount of stim able to come out here from the Terran player with medevac support, I don't know. So that was a really bad engagement there by Titan. His Warp Prism was a great idea, but I think in actuality he should have realized that the majority of his opponent's units were right here at the natural, and that wouldn't really work. So there is a third base going down to compensate for him being a little bit behind at this point. And any additional timing that he would do, he needs those Stalkers, seriously. Against Vikings that Lucifron's producing right now, if you have Stalkers on this map, with the amount of natural chokes in here, it makes it very, very difficult for the Terran to engage and either defend if the Protoss is the one to be aggressive. Definitely going to keep out an eye for this Warp Prism up here, as it hasn't done any damage quite yet. And even a double Starfire down, he needs to know something. Yeah, he got a full scan off. Seeing the double forges coming down and seeing that Robo Bay. I really like this, checking for any Marines. We should see drop pylons. Actually, no, he's just going to go ahead and patrol that probe. Alright. Personally, I'm a big fan of drop pylons when I play PvT, but to each his own. The Mista is actually another Protoss player who really, really likes sending his probes out about the map. But now, I mean, look at the income. 63 Harvesters, not including mules. It's a pretty crazy disparity there between both of the players' incomes. And getting this scan off at exactly his opponent's unit composition at this point, we have a 40 supply lead for Lucifron, starting 2-2 already, just as his Protoss opponent is, and I don't know, there isn't another Observer coming out, so it looks like Titan soon may be wanting to switch into Templar tech. He does have Blink coming down too, so he could see a timing when that completes with 2-2. And that could be quite nice for him if he does continue to Chrono Boost the Forges out. But 3 Colossi right now, as long as he gets a little bit more gateway infrastructure, or gateway support with his army, he should be in a good spot. I don't think I've ever seen a factory take a watchtower, or attempt to. Marine obviously controlling it from the low ground. If only flying buildings could control watchtowers. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism still not doing anything. Does he actually have this hotkeyed? Yes, he does, on hotkey 2. Oh, lovely. Alright, so we should see some Zealots warped in here. They do quite a fair amount of damage. And Lucifron's hugely out of position here. He might even lose his third to these Stalkers, as well as a lot of these SCVs. But in terms of the actual engagement, Lucifron's army is just far, far, far superior to his opponent's forces. And Titan still has yet to warp into the main. Meanwhile, he's losing all his Colossi while he's retreating. Only one survives. And Lucifron getting out of that without losing all that much. His third's still alive. He has the majority of his SCVs there. How many were killed total? We have 11 so far this game, but if we take a look at the worker count again, both are even for this point. And as no mules have gone down quite yet, here we see 3 fresh ones. Should pick up there for the Terran in the near future. Very nice call here by Lucifron, setting out a Marine to make sure of his opponent's army position before he pushed out. Because the only way he can lose at this point, until his Protoss opponent gets maxed, is if by chance he ends up losing to a base trade situation. Very nice being active with these Blink Stalkers, picking up 2 Vikings and a medevac for losing absolutely nothing. Very nicely done. Concussive shells, finally, Lucifron does realize that he omitted that earlier. Stimming forward with a couple of units, trying to snipe that last Colossus. Charge is on the way right now, as well as 3-3, but without the 4th base up and those additional gases, he really can't afford to get out both Templar and Colossi. So he's still committed to these Colossi, but so many Vikings remain for Lucifron. The Stalker's not even bothering to target them down. Colossi trying to do as much as they can before they die, but this is just a huge bio ball with absolutely no AoE to destroy it. And there's the good game. So Lucifron does take game 1 here